if you had to kind of summarize like what is like one of your favorite business principles or kind of things you hang your hat on, what would you say it is? Whether it be something about how you run your team, something about how you have systems, it could be anything, but like what's one thing that you like to hang your hat on and how you
One
run
of
your
the
business?
things, probably this may be overheard or maybe overused, but I check myself every single day where I don't have integrity, because everybody can fall in that trap saying, I have integrity, right? Yeah, I have integrity. I'm an honest person. But the truth is, that's not true. So I check myself. Did I come on time to my meetings? That's integrity. Did I do what I said I'm going to do? That's integrity. Am I doing what is right for my client? That's integrity. Everything I do has to be around integrity. So we have to be careful. I have to be careful when I use the word integrity and I don't walk in it.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by my friend Ernesto Romero. Vamos a hablar en inglés hoy.
Yes, yes.
He's the founder of Global Planning and Insurance Advisors, and he is a friend of mine from Rise Up Kings. And he also is in the financial services space, which I spent over 10 years in that industry. So I love talking about that industry and how it's changing. Ernesto, tell us a little bit about how you got started. Like, how did you kind of cut your teeth and start the business?
Well, it's very funny because the way I started is because I was very curious how insurance works. I'm an immigrant and I came to this country not knowing anything about. I knew a lot of finances and banking industry. That was my background, but the insurance was very intriguing to me. And when I started working and or knowing the insurance is, how to understand how health insurance works, because it was kind of the concept and um, the the different things that you need to know about having health insurance. It sounds very boring, but it got my interest because I got kind of tired, seeing bills and say, how come I have insurance but I'm not covered? Or how come, what is a pre-existing condition? What is this? What is that? So I started digging in, and that, got me very interested in um, teaching others, how insurance works. And that's how it got me interested, not because the money got me interested because I needed to know how it works.
Mm. So you started with health insurance, and now I'm assuming, because I know you and I have talked, you
Yes,
do annuities, you do
yes, yeah.
life insurance,
So
you do it all, right?
I started in the insurance, health insurance, and then the Medicare, and then I started expanding channel distribution. I started getting very interested about life insurance planning. How come you can borrow against your life insurance? I heard the story about Walt Disney that he borrowed against his life policy to build nowadays what is Walt Disney in Tampa and Orlando, so in Florida. So it was very interesting, and I got more passionate about the finances. Coming, me coming from the banking industry and the finances, how we can utilize that, understand how annuity works, how variables, there's so many products and so many things that will cover your needs and protect you. Just to transfer the risk it is very worth it. If you don't know about insurance or would you like to be covered and protected, yeah, and I think everybody has to. Everybody, anybody who has a pulse should have some kind of protection, because you never know. It's like having car insurance. You don't know that is there, but it's there when you need it, and when you don't have it, then you like, oh shoot, I'm in trouble because I was forced to have a car insurance, but I don't have it. So it's like the same thing with your health insurance, your finances, how to transfer the risk and avoid, uh, you know, financial things, in your life.
Well, no one likes to talk about life insurance, but it's funny when I got my Series 65 license. they were like the two most basic needs of every client: emergency savings and a term life insurance policy.
Yes.
And most of the Christian business owners I know don't even have a term policy. So
Yes.
like it's a huge need. Like, you talked about some of these guys in Rise Up Kings, you're building a house and you fall and die,
Yeah.
right? No one likes to think about it, but it's incredibly important. But then let alone the tax loopholes that
Yeah.
are afforded by the government inside of a life insurance policy. It's
Yes.
incredibly powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just got a story. My sister, she's coming, she used to work in the broadcast television, and, she got a, she saw my passion, and she said, you know what, I'm gonna do insurance. And then she bought her license, and one of her client, she saw a cancer policy, just because, it was a cancer policy with the health insurance, just to make sure. And it was a healthy guy, like, my age. And all of a sudden, 2 months ago, he got diagnosed with um, terminal cancer. And this guy, unfortunately, he will pass. And but the policy that my sister sold him was like around $10,000. Just a cancer policy for, a few dollars a month. Now, he will be able to give that money to his mom, or to spend the rest of his last days in Brazil with his family. And it was a $10,000 policy. That was like, she was like shocked to see that and heard that, and it is possible. It can happen to anyone.
Mm,
So yeah.
that's a good word. So, what do you feel like? Obviously, every insurance advisor has some sort of a unique thing that they offer. When clients ask you and say, "Hey, what makes you different, or what makes you better than the other guy?" How do you kind of answer that
Well,
question?
to me, it's, like I said, I'm passionate about it because I like to do what is right for my client. There are different kind of people, right, in this industry. To me, it's because I'm passionate about serving and giving the best product that will suit that person's needs at the moment, than just basically just be a salesperson. That's a different be being a consultant and be a salesperson. A salesperson just basically is eager to sell you something, not knowing, not being, not having the intentionality or the connection. It's like you and I, we can connect and we can talk about life insurance, and then I start asking you questions, but not to sell you. Just basically find a need and just basically point it out. It's up to you. I will beg you to have a life insurance. Anybody should have a life insurance. It is a tremendous way to protect your family if you love your family. If
Mm,
you have understanding about what is the benefit of having a life insurance, you will be proud, and you will be a very you basically a responsible person. It's just a
yeah.
responsibility just to have. It is important to have a life insurance.
Amen.
Any kind of insurance, but life insurance is important.
100%, 100%. Okay, so you also serve the Spanish speaking market, and I know that from my time as a wholesaler, I feel like that's a very underserved market. So talk to me about kind of like who are the types of people who you wind up consulting with? Are they business owners? Are they retirees? Like, who are you helping through the
It
process?
is it is very interesting, the Hispanic, because the culture, we don't basically, we were not raised with that awareness about life insurance. And it's unbelievable, in this country, everything, works with life, with the life, with insurance, any type of insurance. So now I'm seeing the trend, second generations, or people getting more knowledgeable about, and it's like an awareness. They say, hey, I just bought my house, and I just want to make sure that my mortgage is paid. And I see the Latin community or the Hispanic community be more aware of that. There's still some combative, some misconception, because unfortunately in the industry has been some, consultant or agents that has been given false information, or overselling or not selling but the client's need, or maybe educating correctly. Yes, my job is to sell you, to basically make sure that you are insured, but not knowing what you're buying is basically very disappointing. And that's
Mm,
why there's no value, because remember, you're buying something that you cannot touch.
mm.
And you don't know, but it is true. It's basically you buying a policy that is a contract that promise you that if something happened to you, you're gonna have that check. Your beneficiary will have that check, or you don't have to die to or pass to have that. Just basically you have living benefit that you can use benefits from the life insurance that you can borrow against it. So there's a lot of benefits out there.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I did have some Spanish speaking clients for my college funding business, and I found that for whatever reason, they were a lot less trusting of large institutions. I don't know if that's just a general thing in Latin America, but I would imagine that's something that you uniquely can help with as well. And is that a Latin American thing? Like, are they generally like
Well,
don't trust?
it's not that they don't trust, it's because they feel intimidated.
Okay,
I noticed, but if you go to a person that you know, or that you build a trust, because Hispanic people, don't they don't care about the institution. They care about if they feel connected, or they
got it.
feel that there's a connection there, so there's a trust. So if you're genuine, they connect, that you earn their business. For example, I've seen, wow, person, I see a client, this is a very interesting client, that very humble, very, you will never know that this guy is a millionaire, and he didn't know how to, write and read. And for him to go into this, and he has over $3 million in his house, because he owns a construction company and landscaping, and he's very
I love
hardworking.
guys like that, by the way. Those are my favorite
Yes,
kinds of clients. I
yes,
love guys
yes,
like that.
it's unbelievable. And he was talking to me, and I don't know what to do with this money and things like that, and I help him out. And they were my best client, and they trust me, and the whole family trusts me. But he said, next door, I never went to a bank. I never went to some big companies, because I felt very overwhelmed. It's like I feel little, going to these big places. So I feel out of place, and say, why is that? Because this is a land opportunity. You basically a living experience of the American dream. But again, education and lack of trust, and that's we, the Hispanic, needs to be more united and make sure that we do what is right for the client.
Yeah, I love that. So tell us, what do you feel like is going well with your company, and what do you feel like is not going so well?
But what is going well in my company is that, I don't claim that we're better than anyone, but the thing is, what I noticed is that people, especially Hispanic, but people don't follow organization. People follow people. So the culture that I built in my company is a very genuine, that they feel that they belong, and that's what is working. We basically we have over 200 agents in our organization, and every one of them, they feel that they belong. And regardless, if they're high producers or low producers or no producers, they're still getting the same attention, they're getting the
Mm,
same service. So that's basically what I understand the need of the agent out there. I understand, sometimes they feel they need coaching, they need, encouragement, and that's the most important thing that we as an organization, we focus on. That we are focused on developing uh, professionals to do what is right for the community. That's what is going
mm.
well. What is not going well, sometimes, uh, what I will say that is not going sometimes not so well is, I will say, you know nothing that I can't come up with, probably is there are some kind of loyalty out there sometimes, but it's a few things there. You know what I mean? It happens. Sometimes you have some disappointments or some agents that decided to leave you for any reason that. And they do what is wrong and basically they hide it for you. Those secret agendas that sometimes happens to us, but other than that, we're doing fantastic.
That's great. Let's talk about AI for a second. How do you see it shaping your industry?
It's a tool. It's a tool. Again, you have to have that human connection. It's a great tool uh, to probably enhance your connection if you do it right. But it's a great tool. But remember, there has to be a heart, there has to be a connection, and you have to be genuine in this business. Yes, AI is a great tool. Please, insurance advisors, don't overuse it. Use it wisely. Anybody
Mhm.
who's using AI for any reason, marketing, it's unbelievable. It's a great tool, but do it right.
Mm.
That's
So
my
it sounds
best
like
advice.
you've seen some people either overuse it or like maybe there's a lot of fear around it, like replacing what you guys do.
Not really. Basically, what it is overuse. And again, we're dealing with human beings.
Yep.
I've seen, people relying 100% on the AI, and it's a great tool, but they do it just because they want to make good, quick money. But at the end of the day, what about the service? What about it's very efficient. I know it's a very efficient because I use it and I like it, but we have to be careful, if we don't over utilize it. We have to be
Is
careful.
there,
We have to watch it. We have to be constantly, observing and monitoring that.
yeah, that's good. At the end of the day, people work with, who they trust,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
And you have to be efficient. Remember, you have, as an insurance agency or an insurance advisor, you always have to protect your brand.
Mm, that's good. Where is there any area of your business where you feel like you could be using AI, but you're not? Like, I think there's an AI for that, but I'm not quite sure.
No, I'm using it. I'm using AI. It's a great tool. It's a great tool for
Cool.
customer service, utilization, um, being out there, exposing. It is a great tool if you know how to use it and market. Yeah.
What is your goal for your business? So, like, what, when you look out at a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, what's your kind of goal and what's in between you and getting there?
Well, that's a great question because my goal, is that, one of my dream is see people develop in this business, right? And be nationwide. And this is a best family business. I started with nothing, and now we have, two offices. We're still growing, and
How many
basically
agents do you have, by the way, Ernesto?
over 200 agents.
Dang, that's
Yes,
that's
yes,
that's not nothing. That's a lot.
yeah. It's a good number to have. But again, for me, what worries me is not to neglect because it's not about the quantity. It's basically you have to be careful that every single one of them is taken care of.
Mm,
Because the numbers don't matter. I can't sell that number to basically a carrier. Say, hey, well, how many agents you have? Oh my goodness, it's amazing. But are they doing good? Do you know their names? Remember, we had that. I had to, intentionally know their names. Basically, get to know them.
mm,
That's important to me.
yeah. Let's talk about switching gears for a second. You and I met each other through Rise Up Kings. I always try to get a little testimonial for Ruck, but tell us a little bit about how it's changed your life, your business, whatever area that it's impacted the most.
Yeah, well, Rise of Kings had changed my life. Basically, I also reinsure what my purpose is. Okay, especially the four pillars. Faith, family, fitness, and finances. Working every single day, through those four pillars, have helped me to also be a good leader and basically spread that leadership to everyone here in my company. Again, my dream always being seeing people develop, but if I don't change, nothing changed. So to me, I had to work on me, and I think I found the best organization that can coach me and help me to develop myself and basically expose Rise Up Kings to everyone that I know that will help them also to grow up and develop themselves.
That's awesome. Well, last question. So, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners in the audience. If you had to kind of summarize, like, what is like one of your favorite business principles or kind of things you hang your hat on, what would you say it is? Whether it be something about how you run your team, something about how you have systems, it could be anything, but like, what's one thing that you like to hang your hat on and how you
One
run
of
your
the
business?
things, probably this may be overheard or maybe overused, but I check myself every single day where I don't have integrity.
Mm.
Because everybody can fall in that trap saying I have integrity, right? Yeah, I have integrity. I'm an honest person. But the truth is that's not true. So I check myself. Did I come on time to my meetings? That's integrity. Did I do what I said I'm gonna do? That's integrity. Am I doing what is right for my client? That's integrity. Everything I do has to be around integrity. So we have to be careful. I have to be careful when I use the word integrity and I don't walk in it. To me, it's important. Walk in integrity.
Sorry, you cut
I
out for
think
a
I lost
second.
you.
You were saying you
Yeah.
have to be careful when you use the word
Yeah.
integrity.
Yeah, you have to be careful with the word integrity because if you got caught up on that and you not walking it, that's dangerous.
That's a
So
great word. I don't think that's overstated at all. I don't, honestly, I think every advisor would say they do the right thing for the client, but no one ever actually says like, what does that mean? Right? That's so like
exactly. Oh,
wishy-washy. Yeah,
I'm here to help. I'm here to educate, but educate them for your own gain, or you have to educate them to make sure that they're doing what is right for them, and you do it with integrity. That's the two difference.
yeah,
And I check myself every single day and say where, in the areas where I don't have integrity.
that's
Am I
good.
eating right? Am I doing my exercise right? That's integrity.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I thought the whole fiduciary thing was silly when the government tried to define it, but
Hmm.
the fact that they had to define it told you everything you needed to know. Like everyone should already operate as a fiduciary, but the
Hmm.
fact that our government has to define it
Right.
means that there's plenty of people out there that are not, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Well, if people want to learn more about who you are and your business, where can they go?
well, they can check my website, globalinsuranceapa.com. Um, or you can check us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Global Insurance and Planning Advisors. Um, Again, anytime, you have any questions, concerns, or share a story, talk to me. I'll be more than happy to answer the call.
If you are a financial advisor or any sort of insurance producer, Ernesto is an awesome guy. And so if you're listening to this, definitely reach out. I'm sure he can help you put your business on overdrive.
Yeah,
So, and I can say that personally. He's a great dude and a great producer. So thanks for coming on the show. Don't go anywhere. I want to keep
thank
talking,
you.
but thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.